Dramatic changes in weather, climate and ice conditions at the poles are expected to lead to an increase of human activities in these regions, such as cargo transportation, tourism, fisheries and natural resource exploitation. Therefore, accurate weather and sea ice information is becoming increasingly vital in order to reduce risks and improve safety management in polar regions. The Arctic and Antarctic are among the least observed regions on Earth. Gaps in process understanding, along with the deficit of observational data, are still limiting the quality of forecasts across both hemispheres. Advances in polar prediction systems will lead to improved weather and sea ice forecasts, as well as provide better climate predictions for polar regions in the mid-latitudes. The Polar Prediction Project is a 10-year endeavour of the World Meteorological Organization's World Weather Research Programme. It promotes cooperative international research and supports the development of improved weather and environmental prediction services for the polar regions on timescales from hours to seasonal. During the core phase of the Polar Prediction Project, from 2017 to 2019, the Year of Polar Prediction coordinated a period of intensified observing, modelling, verification, user engagement and education activities. The Year of Polar Prediction, also known as YOP, has the purpose of enabling a significant improvement in environmental prediction capabilities for the polar regions and beyond. What happens at the poles doesn't stay at the poles, but can have a major influence on the mid-latitudes. The Polar Prediction Project has now moved into the Consolidation Phase. This phase is crucial for analysing the data and summarising scientific results. It is also key for providing recommendations to the World Meteorological Organization on improving observation networks to meet increased services, providing recommendations to environmental prediction services regarding the many processes investigated during the project, and making recommendations to the wider society. All of these recommendations and the scientific results that will continue to emerge over the coming years will form the legacy of the Year of Polar Prediction.
We're in a really interesting phase with Year of Polar Prediction because we're moving into the consolidation phase, and that's giving us a great opportunity to bring together all the projects that have been taking place and that are still going on and find the big stories that join up the smaller projects.
During the core phase of YOP, from mid-2017 to mid-2019, a series of intensified observation and modelling campaigns took place, both in the Arctic and the Antarctic. The data collected during these so-called special observing periods are being used to improve forecasts for the polar regions and beyond. Because the polar regions have been so sparsely studied compared to the rest of the world, gathering additional information on atmospheric and sea ice conditions is crucial to enhance our understanding of high-latitude weather and sea ice processes. This is especially true for the Antarctic, a continent which has been shaped by diverse climates over millions of years and where weather patterns are changing rapidly.
So weather forecasting down there is an evolving enterprise and it's very challenging, and we're learning how to do it better both in the summer and in the coming years in the future for the benefit of the global forecast centres.
We're gathering a lot of observational data from super sites, what we call stations where we have lots of extra additional observations, and match them with model data at that location. So we're just starting to look at not just how the 2-meter temperature, 10-meter winds are working, but for the processes, so turbulent fluxes, clouds, and other things that we know are not very well represented in the polar regions.
One very good example is the OBSARC. We're really coming together and making a unique data set, combining observations and model output, which could be used both by the partners of the existing project, but also for academia and others as a legacy of YOP. But this is really a unique data set, not just because of the content, but also the format and the intended accessibility. Not only Met Norway on itself, but also in collaboration with Hüßner, Environment, Climate Change Canada, Met France and others, that we can do this together as a joint effort. And hopefully we can bring in young scientists to work on these type of data sets in the future.
At the end of YOP, we will have this great data set with observations at certain sites that are collected during the YOP SOPs, and also the data from the mosaic in a format that will be easy to use for generations of model development to come. So it will be like a baseline and something you can test your models when you do improvements for a long time to come.
One of the things I hope that YOP is going to achieve is making genuine improvements to modelling systems through better parameterizations and better use of observational data within their forecasting systems.
Over the past decade, the Year of Polar Prediction has engaged a strong community of scientists, experts from numerical weather centres and stakeholders who all share a common vision to provide sophisticated weather and sea ice prediction services for the polar regions. Through collaborations and endorsements of international activities and projects, the Year of Polar Prediction has strongly enhanced interdisciplinary communication and networking between providers and users of polar forecasting products.
We managed to build a community also of social scientists and of interdisciplinary scientists interested in service delivery. I hope that in YOP we have set a step in the right direction that we will be able to continue.
The Year of Polar Prediction is also about the people, local communities, shipping enterprises, as well as policymakers throughout the globe who could benefit from improved forecast services and reliable observing systems. Arctic communities are currently facing huge environmental challenges, and improved forecast skill will help to better identify extreme weather events so they can efficiently respond to these events at an early stage.
For us, in our Societal and Economic Research and Applications group, that means that we will be running a series of workshops that aim at understanding how users of environmental forecasts make decisions, what services they utilize and why they may need in order to improve their operational decision making and also reduce the risk associated with operating in the polar regions.
The Polar Prediction Project ends in 2022. In May 2022, the Polar Prediction community will gather in Montreal, Canada for their final summit to jointly review and discuss the final outcomes of the Polar Prediction Project and to pave the way for future activities as a legacy of the Year of Polar Prediction. Until then, there is a lot of work to be done.
Coming next is basically to continue the research, know more about the weaknesses where you can contribute with the research in order to improve the forecast, and by doing this we can also learn more about how to improve the services. When we know our strengths and weaknesses, we can also then better cater for improved services for the benefit of society at large.
The Year of Polar Prediction also provides opportunities for early career scientists to participate in the process of advancing polar research and polar predictive skill. 2 polar prediction schools have already been set up in cooperation with the Association for Polar Early Career Scientists and other partners. In addition, webinars and workshops offer a platform for early career researchers to learn about and discuss how to improve weather and sea ice forecasts in the polar regions. This will help to educate the next generation of polar scientists and prepare them to carry out state-of-the-art research in the future.
But there's already a lot of really good work that's happened in terms of creating webinars, creating lectures, disseminating information to early career researchers, and I'd like to be able to bring all that information together to reach as wide a base as possible, and for that information to continue to help early career researchers to understand polar prediction.
With the Year of Polar Prediction, we want to improve environmental forecast services for the Arctic, the Antarctic and beyond. As climate is changing, we need to have a better idea about what the future is going to look like in order to provide reliable guidance for decision makers to ensure safe and healthy operations and responsible management of natural resources in the polar regions. Despite the worldwide outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic in 2020, YOP is still making progress. At the moment, different task teams have started to take a look at and evaluate the mosaic data, which will be one of the most important datasets of all time for the Arctic. Further focus lies on the preparation of the YOP Final Summit taking place in Montreal in summer 2022. The final summit will highlight major YOP achievements and bring together all the experts and champions in polar prediction to jointly discuss further research areas and the legacy of the Polar Prediction Project.